Well, you've impressed the client with a beaker animating across the table, and you learned a little bit about keyframe animation in the process. And now that you've learned a little bit more, the client wants something a little more complex. This time, the client wants the beaker that's in the back of the table to move forward, pass along the front of the table, then move to the back of the table again. While this animation could be done with keyframe animation, it does become a little more complex. And it will certainly become a little more confusing because you'll have many more keyframes that you have to work with. To accomplish this a little bit more quickly and easily, we're going to learn how to perform path animation. Path animation is managed by something called a controller or constraint. You can sort of think of it as a modifier for animation. What we need to do is assign the path constraint to the beaker object, which allows us to pick a two-dimensional path that we can use as an animation path. The path constraint adds the path controller to the position of the beaker that allows us to animate the object along the path and control its position at any point along the path over time. After adding the path constraint, the next step is to pick the path that we're going to use for the animation. This will tell the beaker which path to follow. Then the beaker, or more precisely the beaker's pivot point, will be animated to move along the path for the current active segment we have set. One thing important to note about creating paths for animation is that they can only have one subobject spline and cannot be compound shapes.